Vanakkam viewers, today we have a very special guest, Mr. Vanamamalai sir. He has been associated with the Swadeshi Jagran for a very long period of time, and he has been the editor of Swadeshi Sedigal, the official magazine of Swadeshi Jagran, and a translator and author who has translated several books from Tamil to English. Let us welcome him to the show. Vanakkam sir.
Welcome. Thank you.
Just for the sake of the knowledge of the audience, can you give us a brief introduction about Swadeshi Jagran and how it has been contributing for the growth of the nation?
Sure. Swadeshi Jagran Manch was a need of the time. It is a part of the RSS Sangha movement. It's a Parivar family member, we should say. You will not know that once we had attained freedom, till then we were under the British rule, and the economic policies were guided as by the British ruler. After getting the freedom under Nehru, we were following a socialist model of government, not communist, socialist model of government. That is, most of the activities will be monitored and guided by the government. This was going on up till 1991, whereas China had taken a different tack. The Western nations were taking a totally capitalist mode of governance or economic policies, whereas India was following neither the communist China nor the Russia, but we were going through following a socialist model of this thing. By 1991, the government of the day, at that time it was
Liberalization.
Sri Manmohan Singh and other thing, they decided that there should be a liberalization, that there should be a change in track of the economic model of governance and the economic policies that we had to follow. So at that time they decided that we will start liberalization of our economy, the rules and regulations, which were mostly followed and given by the British, and we were following it and taken up with the socialist color. So once this news was out, people in the Sangha felt that this is the time that we should definitely liberalize, when the first generation liberalization or reforms were taking place. At the same time, it should have an Indian, Bharatiya flavor to these reforms. It should not simply ape the Western model of economics. So people decided something has to be done, and Swadeshi Jagran Manch. Swadeshi means that which belongs to our nation. Jagran means awareness. Manch is a movement. So if you can say it in Tamil, Swadeshi Vizhuppunarvu Iyakkam. So they wanted to create awareness within the public and also guide the government on the policies that are to be taken with respect to the economic policies and governance.
Okay. So what will be the basic work of Swadeshi Jagran What will be
Swadeshi Jagran Manch was formed as an, we can call it the term as non-governmental thing. It has nothing to do with the government, because it was not a part of the government. So
is it a Sangh Parivar organization?
It is a Sangha Parivar organization, very much a Sangha Parivar organization. It was started by Datopan Tengediji. He was the one who founded the Bharatiya Mazdoor Sangh, which is the biggest trade union organization in the world. And also he was associated with the Akhila Bharatiya Vidyarthi Parishad, and he and S. Gurumurthy ji, another Sanghar Karyakarta, he also joined forces, and many people joined together and they formed a think tank. Okay. They decided how the economic policies of the nation should be guided, and thereby guide the government, give them ideas about it. That was the basic idea. And whenever there was a policy change and it was not acceptable, when they felt it was not up to the Bharatiya standards, they were giving their own inputs.
Okay. But the works of Swadeshi Jagran is not visible from outside point of view. Is it obvious or is it intended that the Swadeshi Jagran should work underground or something like that?
Not just Swadeshi Jagran Manch. Any of RSS works in a very calm way. They don't come into the limelight. They don't publicize their thing. The problem is because of this particular problem, nobody knows much what RSS does. In fact, it is being branded as an extreme right. That is not the case. And moreover, Swadeshi Jagran Manch is more in the intellectual platform, operating from behind, giving them ideas, publishing white papers, analyzing the economic policies. It becomes more of an elitist work.
Okay.
So it is not known much in that thing. But it has got its input, it has made its inputs on many things, imprints on agriculture, industrial policies and other things. We believe that Swadeshi should be the guiding principle in our economic formulations.
Okay.
So they put their emphasis on agriculture, small scale industries, And whatever we do, even if it has to be, if suppose a particular thing has to be imported, we should have some justification for it.
Okay.
Otherwise, try to make it in India. That is what is now being implemented by the present government, the
Okay.
Modi government. You call it Make in India. It has got its origin in the policies of Swadeshi Jagran, which of course is our Sangha policy.
The majority of backlash which RSS is getting is just because the people are not aware of what RSS is doing. That's what you are saying. Why don't RSS come out of the so-called barrier and just publicize what they are doing now?
That is not the way RSS operates.
Okay.
RSS was started almost 100 years back. When come 1925 to 2025, it's going to be 100 thing. RSS was started by Dr. Hedgewar. He was primarily a congressman.
Yeah, freedom fighter.
Of course, naturally, freedom fighter. And he felt that there was disunity among own Hindus. So there has been unity. If there is a unity among Hindus, they can join together, join forces and do it. So it was more to create a sense of freedom and sense of nationalism among the Hindus. He started RSS.
Okay. Yeah, I have heard from many RSS sympathizers that if RSS publicize its work, then more people will be ready to join RSS. Rather, the RSS is having its own stigma which is preventing the society. They can break it. What's your take on it?
RSS basically, probably because of its philosophical way of thinking, more of a spiritual type. It's not a spiritual organization, it's not a philosophical organization, but all its background or the thing it has got ingrained in itself is probably philosophical. The work it does is to coordinate the Hindus, do good for the Hindus, for the country. Let me not limit it by saying it is doing only for Hindus, it is for the country. So they don't believe in publicizing, it has never done it. No RSS person, I am not a direct pracharak of RSS. I belong to the Parivar organization. So we have got a small degree of freedom to come out and say this much also. But no Parivar Sangha pracharak or anybody directly come. You can see even the Sarsanga Chalak giving his lectures only once in a thing during Vijayadashmi. They don't come out much in the thing. That is not the way they function.
Okay.
But their works are visible in the society. They are not here for publicity. They are for here to do real social work.
Okay. As you mentioned that the Swadeshi Jagran Manch policy is being adopted by the present Narendra Modi government. What change has Narendra Modi ji does to the Indian economy?
See, as I told you, you can, if you want to split vertically the economic policies of the world, you can say it is socialist form, communism, which is almost failed. The Western model of market-led economics, it was capitalism, then it graduated into market-led economics. What exactly you mean by market economics? You can say that which is demand in the market, you produce it. So it is more of produce, sell, and again produce. So there's a cycle. So what you create is a lot of goods that is flooded in the market. What it essentially means, it is consumerism. You want more and more, the people should consume more. So if you want to consume more, there should be more goods. If there is more goods, there is more manufacturing activities. Manufacturing doesn't stop only with manufacturing. There are also if suppose somebody is creating a car industry, automobile industry. It is not just automobile industry. If automobile industry grows, then there should be roadways. When roadway grows, then there should be facilities to cater to that thing. There should be motels, hotels on the way. Then everything grows up. So that is their philosophy. You start creating one particular goods, and that is a bigger cycle, and it keeps on going up and up. So it is a produce, sell, again produce. So it is a big consumerist cycle. So what is the harm in it? After all, it creates a lot of work. So many millions of people are lifted up out of poverty. This is what people think. But unfortunately, what happens is, in this sort of economic model, only few are benefited. To that day, to this day, in those days, it probably you can say the royals were benefited, the zamindars were benefited, and the old days the other people were. That is why it created that fight between the proletariat and the bourgeois, the communist sort of thing. But here you don't see like that. You see that still the benefit has not trickled down, as they say in the capitalist economy.
Okay.
So then it should be an equitable thing. Everybody should be benefited. We cannot directly say the government should control everything. That model has totally failed. The market-led economics is bound to fail one day, because this process of producing, selling, and this consumerist model is not going to work out for long. So there should be a balanced economic model in the long run.
Okay.
That is what Swadeshi Jagran supports. So whatever we do, even if it is a market-led economy, let it be within the thing. As such, India is fortunately not much dependent on outside. So we have got all the resources within our to sustain ourselves without depending on others, at least maybe except for fuel.
Okay.
So if you want to extend that thing, so if you want to see how Narendra Modi ji government is implementing Swadeshi means, we are trying our level best to utilize local fuels. Like we are trying to mix that ethanol, this
the 20% mix.
20%. They want to make it up to 30, 40.
Okay.
We are using non-conventional energy sources. So our dependence on the petrodollar fuel is not much more.
Okay.
So that way you become self-reliant. Once you are self-reliant, then people cannot dictate your term. They cannot dictate terms on us. We are politically in the real Swadeshi means also Swadharma and also Swaraj.
Okay.
So that is how it starts from. So one support is the most important thing, sustenance for the nation's people. That should start from economics.
Okay. Now we can see that India is the 5th largest economy in the world. But in 2013, when Finance Minister P. Chidambaram then presented the budget in the Parliament, he mentioned that it will take so long for India to become the 5th largest economy that it will take some 2043 India will be the 5th largest economy. But now Modi ji has made it possible in just 9 years. What change has Modi ji did in this economic model?
Observing the country, the nation as an ordinary person, you can say so many rules and regulations these people said that they will liberalize was not near real-time liberalization. It was not actually accessible to the ordinary person. What about the person, the business people and other things? The ease of business doing, that's what they call it.
Okay.
The various regulations that prevent you from starting a business, the amount of money that you get and how you get it, that means the loans and other things, the encouragement, the single window system that if you want to get a thing, you go to 40 different agencies and you try to get a license. Now everything has been condensed into one single thing. And the corruption that is involved, the red tapeism that is involved in doing the business, all these things are brought down at least, if not eliminated entirely. So this will give a fillip. Only if you are discouraged from starting a business. For example, there was one particular, I think it is Kia Motors. They wanted to start an automobile unit in this thing during Madam Jayalalitha's period. It was told, it was alleged that a lot of corruption was demanded during that time. Money was demanded. Those people went and shifted to
bribery.
Bribery.
Okay.
So they shifted to some other place. Okay. This is called now. But other people are coming here. But suppose Tamil Nadu is supposed to be the automobile hub, what do you call the Detroit of India or whatever it is, then you should make things easy. This was the thing that was done by the present government. They made things easy for the businessman to do. One business, as I was telling you with respect to automobile means infrastructure. Rather, it will start with infrastructure, road infrastructure, then it will be automobile industry, then it will be a spare part, then vendors, then associated things.
Okay.
So it's a chain effect like.
With respect to the Swadeshi thought or the Swadeshi Jagran is concerned, everybody needs to be a Swadeshi in thoughts and actions. Do you think the present society is moving towards the Swadeshi thoughts, or is it far distance away from that?
Honestly, I feel it is moving away from the original philosophical ideology of Swadeshi. Swadeshi means you should be dependent on your own. There should be if you call it in the westernized concept, they call it minimalist living. That way, I feel we are moving away from it.
What can be done to make the society move towards the Swadeshi thought, school of thought?
No, first of all, then there should be a national debate. Should we move towards Swadeshi thought or should we have a consumerist thought? The Western nations progressed because of their consumerism. What happens is, consumerism means, say for example, if you take some non-essential item, say a movie thing. A movie is spent, a Rajinikanth movie star will have say 500 crore, 600 crore budget. So you mean to say Rajinikanth or the producer alone takes that 600 crore? No. There are so many people are involved. Large sets are made. Thousands of artists are made to work on it. And the money gets distributed. Say like we take the recent example of the big fat Indian wedding, they say, no, of Sri Ambani's son. They say so many crores. I do not know. Even the pre-wedding bash was supposed to have that foreign Raihana was paid some 55 crores just to give a small performance for something. Where does all that money go? It splits. You can take it even if you take our own ordinary middle class wedding, it is not just that wedding. The wedding may cost 15-20 lakhs. The mandap fellow gets around 5 lakhs, the food provider will get around 5-6 lakhs, the person who gives music, another some person will be getting some money. This way the money gets distributed. That is what is required. What happens is then there is a circulation of money, then they will go utilize the money again in some other place, and overall the economy gets a fillip, the cycle goes around like that.
Okay.
This lifts a lot of people from the poverty, from crushing poverty. That is what the present government is interested. First lift the people out of poverty, let them at least come to the base level. What Indira Gandhi said in those days,
Garibi
roti,
Hatao.
roti kapda or makan. At least you should have 2 square meals a day, you should have a roof over your head. Now what we have moved away from that, we should have at least food, you should have proper medical care, and you should have some basic education so that you lead a decent life.
Okay.
For that, you need lot of activity, economic activity. You cannot, this minimalist living or Swadeshi living may not be this thing. So we are, even when I was associated with this thing, we started moving away from this product centric Swadeshi. They used to say, okay, Gandhi was telling boycott all English goods. They burnt even foreign. Of course, that's another big history why they burnt another thing. Okay, they burnt foreign goods. They said don't use foreign goods. Can we say the same thing? Yes, we can say the same thing in some respects. So this Jagran did a very good work in telling ban Chinese products, because we have got a very good vast mechanism in Shivagachi and Virudhunagar district to make crackers and firecrackers and other things. So once that thing was banned, people started living here. We were able to produce crores of rupees. We are one of the largest exporters in the world. So many thousands of families, lakhs of families are able to do it. And Virudhunagar district has got some of the best education system, for the best in Tamil Nadu, sponsored only by the makers of these cracker makers and other people, not by the government. So the economic activity there is able to lift the people out of poverty and this thing. Okay. But there is a Swadeshi angle to it. I can tell you, give you another interesting example. Even now, the present government can definitely take. See, these are all, we have got a very large population, nearly 140 crore people like. So we need to employ more people. All this automation, bots, artificial intelligence, everything is good, everything we require. But at the same time, we will have to give gainful employment to people. How can it be done? Everyone cannot be software engineers, everyone cannot be doctors, all cannot be employed by the government, is hardly 2%. So, and you can't just give freebies and give free people. That's what is happening in Tamil Nadu, that's a different story. But you need to make people earn a respectful life by giving them a work. One such thing is this agarbatti business. Previously, prior to the so-called liberalization, this agarbatti business, matchstick making, all this were in the reserved thing. Only cottage industries can make it. The so-called reforms removed that and they put it in the common sector. Anybody can make. Now you have got a company as big as ITC, India Tobacco Company, which makes all the cigarettes and other things. They also make matchsticks and agarbattis. Do you know that? Yeah. They also make agarbattis. Now what is the need for such a big company which is technologically of very low requirements? Absolutely only skill is required. You don't require big technology to make agarbattis or matchsticks. So once ITC uses large machines and it has automized agarbatti making, there are thousands of small industries have gone. Bangalore has got such a vast network of agarbatti making small scale units. That means killing not only small scale industries and the workers, it has killed the spirit of entrepreneurship. Hundreds of small entrepreneurs are finished. What is the need for the government to remove agarbatti from the reserved list? This is one question. This is the Swadeshi type of question. Okay. Here Swadeshi can really play a thing. The policy can still be reversed, where you give employment, you support this thing, at the same time you are not interfering. Yes, you've got so many big things to do.
Yeah. How do you look at the Dravidian developmental model, which is being boasted by the present Tamil Nadu government, that we are the #1 model in India and we are going to implement it throughout India after coming to power in 2024 by giving freebies, 1,000 rupees to women and free bus passes, etc., full of freebies? How do you look at the Dravidian model of governance?
See, Dravidian is a name given by them.
Okay, the model of governance.
It's a name, but otherwise they are following what is being there. As I told you, these are all continuation process. It is nothing that they have created. They had their Justice Party, then with the Constituent Assembly. Before that, they had the British, and slowly the nation evolved into various stages. And at one particular stage, these people came into this thing, and after Congress. So I remember very well. It was during the Congress year up to 67. They had put in, tremendous efforts. I see that industrial estates like Gindi or Ambutur were developing it. Okay, now we have got other economic zones and other things, and many of them have failed also. But the base was laid by them. All big industries were, large-scale industries were given by the Congress government, by Jawaharlal Nehru, and they are surviving. So all these people are piggyback riding on all these things. Okay, but however, one thing I want to say is, even now we are third largest state. The thing, as far as road and other facilities, definitely when you had been to Bihar some time back, years back, we wanted to go from Bihar to Gaya. When you went to the station, it looked like one of most dingy, like dirtiest stations on earth. When we asked the cab driver, "Can you get a ticket for us?" He said, "Don't take ticket. Go on the plane." I said, "No, I want to buy a ticket." So he got me a ticket. But unfortunately, I should not have done it because everybody was sitting there. From there, we went and came back. There were no public buses in Patna, only auto rickshaws. From Gaya to we wanted to go to Bodh Gaya, there were no public transportation. It was just a horrible place, the capital of it. The Patna airport was so bad as Bagadora airport where I landed earlier. So you can but compare that to Tamil Nadu. Definitely it has made an improvement. Definitely there is an improvement. In fact, even when our Prime Minister was the MP of Varanasi, I said development had taken place, but that Kashi corridor had not started building up. But I saw still Varanasi was such a thing, but it is an international center for the for the Saivites. Gaya was the international center for Vaishnavites. Two places where I saw there was no development. Comparatively, our Tiruchendur or Palani, in terms of pilgrimage centers, were lot better.
Okay.
So yes, there is something, but it is not only because of these people. Okay, but as many of our leaders say and thinkers say, for the given potential of Tamil Nadu with its large ports, seashores, and the initial advantage which you have, the startup we had, Tamil Nadu should have been as good as Maharashtra or even better than that.
Okay.
So you lost on the first advantage.
Yeah.
In that way, it's a failure.
Moreover, Tamil Nadu has got the maximum of debt in India. We are going to hit the debt ceiling. More than 8 lakh crores we have got the debt. And how are you going to repay it? Any idea? Will it impact anything on the future generations of Tamil Nadu?
Government debts generally don't fall on the individuals. But our Tamil Nadu entrepreneurs, businessmen, and workers are very smart. Because you can't just let's say because there is so much of 8 lakh crores of debt, all the industries should divide it or all the individuals. That's not the case. It doesn't happen that way. For that matter, the per capita debt is divided in every country. It's only an indicative figure, but it's not good. It's not healthy. It should be less. It is not going to reflect on us, but welfare measures of the government will come down. When welfare measures come down, it is going to affect the common man. You are not going to have public toilets. You are not going to be able to give free education. You may not be able to continue with your, now there is not only midday meal, there is also early morning breakfast. They are all very good schemes. Really, you should, it is something to, this again I would say it's a Swadeshi thing. You should have food. There was at a point of time that Annadana was there. There were no hotels. We never sell food. Our customs or our tradition is we never sell food. We only give free food. Wherever you go, you will not be going sent back with an empty stomach. Wherever you are called as an Atithi Deva Bhava, wherever you will get food. But so that extending the same concept, now it may not be possible for you to have an Annachatra everywhere, but at least the government is giving some free food, at least to children.
Okay.
But such measures will definitely take a hit. Just take one simple thing you would have observed if you are there in the marketing or something, if you travel around the city. Even if you want to eat, you will not have a convenience room. What do you call that? Restroom. And what do? We dirty it. So two things. One, your honor is lost. You will be your Swachh Bharat is lost. You are unhygienic. What about women? What about women constables who are there? So who should do that? Here government should do it. If you are not having money, this is not a priority sector. You won't find any of these things. And it is so much interconnected. There should be so much of government land that should be utilized for these public welfare measures. But all these lands are sold up for private parties. The place where I live, Nanagar, it was developed in 1965-66. In 67, they had this World Trade Fair. such a beautifully laid out place, like just like Chandigarh, which is which was done by the French architect. Ananagar is a very well made thing. They had provisions for everything, but later on these Dravid governments, the Dravidian model governments, they picked up every public spot and they sold it off. Most probably for their own people, I believe. All the public spots were missing. So where there should have been a lorry parking place, there should have been a park, there should have been a children's play space. Everything was taken over by these parties. Let me not say parties, by the governments of the day and given to this thing. So where will you have public this thing? Government needs money to invest in public welfare, which is not done. When they have so much of debt, where they will do it? So they will give it allotted to the private, and they will have to develop it on their own. And the private develops, it will always be at a cost. That means it will not reach the downtrodden and the poor people. This is why government should not be poor. Government should be prosperous.
So thank you for joining me in the first episode of our discussion. We will continue in this discussion in the upcoming days. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you so much, Kiran. Very nice of you.